His headline, one of the posts that he wrote on the site says, Apple is growing rotten to the core. Official Google Voice app blocked from App Store. Jason, you go on to write that if there's ever a time to be furious with Apple, now is it. Can you just, in the most basic terms, explain what this is about, especially for people who don't own an iPhone and might not understand?
Sure. So over the last 12 or 13 months since the App Store first came out, there's been sort of growing frustration among the developer community because Apple never established really firm guidelines for what they would accept and what they wouldn't accept in the App Store. And now what's happening is, it went on long enough, people kind of assumed Apple wasn't putting enough money or training the staff who are approving the apps. And now it's just that they're just actively not allowing apps that might do something better than what Apple or AT&T have done. They're just kind of keeping out these really innovative apps because they don't want to be disrupted. They don't want to lose their cash cow.
All right, so Guy Kawasaki from alltop.com. Why is this a big deal? I mean, can't Apple do whatever it wants to do with its phone and its applications?
Well, if Apple were merely a company, I would say the answer is yes. Unfortunately, Apple's more like a religion, and it's a religion of the people. And so the people, from Jason Kincaid to Guy Kawasaki to, Trixie and Biff, believe that we have an opinion on how Apple should run its operation. I will tell you, though, having been on the inside of Apple, people on the outside of Apple, when they look at what Apple's doing, they often try to look for these demonic Oliver Stone conspiracies where Steve Jobs is working with someone from Google and someone from AT&T, and they're plotting the end of freedom in America and the world. And usually when you think Apple's doing something like that, it's more stupidity than it is malice. So I would tend to give Apple the benefit of the doubt, Jason.
So, Guy, do you think that...
I'd love to.
Yeah,
it's just Apple won't talk about this at all. So it's sort of like they're so closed in, we have no choice but to assume that they're doing this maliciously.
Jennifer...
Well, but again, I'm saying, I would not assume maliciousness. I would assume stupidity.
Okay, Jennifer, what are you assuming in this case, and how far away is your iPhone from you right now? Would you actually drop it in the garbage?
No, are you kidding? Like, I love my iPhone. It's obvious that Apple and AT&T have an issue with competing services. That's kind of a no-brainer. But I think most mainstream consumers fall in the boat that they don't even know what Google Voice is. They're certainly not going to quit their iPhone. They love it for how they can browse the internet. And Apple and AT&T are aware of that right now.
Justine, I wonder what you think about the ways in which bloggers like yourself and the way that things now trend on Twitter and how much attention is paid to that, if this is the sort of thing that you think will change Apple's mind when they see all these complaints, and perhaps Guy's right, maybe they are just ignorant, or maybe they are a victim of their own stupidity. But do you think that this sort of groundswelling that you guys are all a part of will actually change a company's decision-making?
I mean, it's happened before, and I think that Apple and AT&T are actually just scared because what is to stop someone from just having their iPhone and carrying around a Wi-Fi card and using Google Voice? Because actually half the time, when AT&T isn't working, I have a Verizon Wi-Fi card that I use, and I end up just using Skype or just sending email.
Interesting. I'm going to get over to Namwa to see what people are saying right now about this Apple love or hate. Namwa?
Yeah, all right. Let's see what we find here on Facebook, Reggie. Let's start with Laurie, who says, used to have one. It was great for a little while, talking about the iPhone, but got rid of it. Too much money and too much being connected all the time. I love my little cheap bar phone. It's got text and can call people. That is all I need. So Laurie here is going old school. Let's get to Edwin. iPhone is the best phone. It is sad not to see the Google Voice app. It would have been a great application, but there are other apps that I have not seen, like one from CNN. I think we're working on that. And Alex says, I keep on telling myself over and over again, I love my iPhone because it is an excellent device and it helps me wherever I go. I like to connect to the internet to watch CNN.com live when I am out of my office. Reggie, doesn't that just warm your heart?
It certainly does. Let me get back to Jason from TechCrunch, because I'm wondering, Jason, do you believe that Apple has gone to the dark side, or are you still willing to give it a chance?
I think it's teetering on the edge. It's spent so long sort of showing a general disregard for the well-being of developers that this was sort of the straw that broke the camel's back. Developers are really up in arms now. There are some very well-known developers who are just saying they're done with the iPhone. Obviously, Michael Arrington, my boss, just said he's done with the iPhone. So
are you
even
done
if
with your
the
iPhone? Would you actually get